Hi, my name is Jason Parsons, and I'm with a friend that chooses to be off camera because he doesn't actually like to be on camera. But I definitely need somebody to be able to talk to in order to organize my thoughts, in order to be able to effectively express myself. I'm not one of these vloggers that can just look at an image of themselves and be able to concentrate. But anyway, so I'm a IA at Emerson Elementary School in Phoenix, Arizona, USA. And it's so uh, um, on Thursday afternoon, which would be November 2nd, I was put on administrative leave. Okay. And, due to some complaints that the school district is so happy to hear about, so they can turn a molehill into Mount Everest, because the day before, on November 1st, I sent an email to the districts. So the superintendent, all 5 members of the governing board, as well as the top leadership of the nutrition department, um, you know, that I found out on their website. And I informed them that they were violating the ADA rights of some of their autistic students, because some of them cannot go into the cafeteria during lunch because of how chaotic it is, how loud and chaotic it is. Okay. And so ever since I started working there in November of 2021, so this has been, right about 2 years this has been the procedure, is that for those kids that cannot be taken into the cafeteria for a number of reasons, not just that, but for a number of reasons, the lunch is taken to them in the classroom. So that way, that avoids all these problems. Okay. And so this year we have a new nutrition manager, or whatever her title is, um, you know, um, who basically has dictated that is to stop. I was told about this Tuesday afternoon, and so I wasn't able to get the email written up until well after business hours. So I went ahead and I saved it, yeah, till 5 minutes before the start of school. So that way, when all these individuals went to check their email, be right on top there. And so basically, this is not about no that about the complaints of these children. This is about whistleblower retaliation. Okay. And so just to so as far as, okay, what exactly happened? So the first incident happened during the recess, for the 7th and 8th grade recess, which I part of my duties is to supervise that recess. And um and so and it is common practice, once the whistle blows, and all of the monitors say, hold the balls, take them inside, that they just ignore us and just keep playing. Whether we're talking about basketball, soccer, football, doesn't matter. The students show absolute contempt for the authority of all the playground monitors. And so what I did, okay, is that they were playing football that day. And so what I did was I used the knowledge that I had gained from being a football fan who's been watching football since 1980, to quickly strip the ball from the boy who had it, before he knew what was happening. Okay. It's the you know it's so it's so that's what I did. Now, I will acknowledge that he did catch me a little bit off guard. Was in that he actually started turning toward me. He didn't know I was there. Okay. And yeah, if I wouldn't have been quick to respond, I might have actually hit him, yeah, somewhere in the head. But I immediately pulled my arm to the side, and yes, I put it on his shoulder, and I that chopped at the football. And as I was going down for the football, I did catch his shoulder just a little bit, turn his body just a little bit. I immediately released it, so he never went down. Okay, and so I got the football, and and I promise you that if he's going to try to, and trust me, those kids were doing things, playing football, playing tackle football. They were being far more rough with each other, than what I did. Okay, any injuries that boy might be claiming that I caused. No, actually, it's more likely that his peers caused him, because even though some of those tackling techniques were perfectly fine in the NFL, back when I was their age, you'll now get a 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness, as the NFL is more concerned now about player safety than other. But again, oh, well, why didn't you stop from doing it? Oh, well, hey, they spit in my face when I just simply asked them to pick up, to hold the football. What do they think that they're going to do if I say, hey, that's not, you can't do that, because the NFL considers that to be too rough. That's the reason why there's no longer tackle football below high school. But all football at middle school level is flag football because of all this stuff. But anyways, so basically all of us playground monitors, let them do whatever they want, because they're absolutely not going to listen to us. And they will show us utter contempt if we actually try to say, hey, that's not considered safe by the NFL anymore. And so, yeah, we absolutely let them, do it. And so I did hear one of the kids like, oh, yeah, he can't let it. It's like, you think I'm that stupid? I'm 54 years old. That kid was 13. Okay. If he would have known that I was closing in on him, and he started doing any kind of evasive maneuvers, my knees would have been sore within 10 seconds. Okay. I don't have the ability to zigzag like these teenagers do at my age. Okay. I would have been setting myself up to be made a fool of if I would have actually gone, run up by, that would have been totally stupid of me. My entire plan to get the football from him without causing any injury whatsoever was to catch him by surprise from behind, chop the football before he even knew I was there. Okay, so no, I didn't run up and go to him, because that would have been stupid. Anyway, so and I'm not the only one that has problems with these with these middle schoolers. Okay, we have 4 middle school classrooms: science, math, social studies, and what would be the fourth one? Science, math. Oh, ELA, English Language Arts, is what they call reading now. So yeah, they just called it reading or writing or whatever back in our days. Now it's English Language Arts. So anyways, whatever. So and so how about asking these teachers, whether or not they absolutely believe that these kids are treating us with this level of contempt. I guarantee all 4 of them will say, well, they treat us with that kind of contempt in the classroom, so yeah, they probably are treating the playground monitors with the same level of contempt. Oh, by the way, I also know how badly behaved they are, in the classrooms, because part of my duties is to provide one-on-one support for my fellow autistics, in the classroom setting. So I've been in the classrooms and seen how these kids treat their teachers, as well as the 6th grade class, which is also considered middle school at our school. And oh, by the way, as 5th graders last year, these kids were so poorly behaved that they caused 3 teachers to quit. Okay, that's how bad this behavior is. That is how out of control the behavior of these children at and not just at Emerson, because this is because I also worked at another school in Washington School District, completely different school district. So this isn't even an Emerson thing. Okay, this is a problem, with this entire concept of positive reinforcement only. No consequences. Positive reinforcement going to change everything. And I'll acknowledge that for most kids, positive reinforcement does work. Okay, but here's what happens: that one kid is going to challenge. Okay, and when you lay down and allow yourself to be a doormat, guess what? Now a second kid is going to challenge you. Then a third kid. See that this brilliant idea of positive reinforcement was drawn up in a vacuum. Okay, it doesn't acknowledge that these people have no idea that if you allow one child to get away with murder, and there is no visible consequence to that child, not only is that child going to continue the behavior, but other kids are going to join in. Okay, and so just about everybody that's raised children understands this concept. The people that came up with this, positive reinforcement only, no consequences ever, no punishments ever. Punishments are bad. That they absolutely have they actually raised kids? Do they actually understand kids? Just about every parent who's ever raised a kid definitely understands kids better than the people that came up with this policy, because it is absolutely idiotic, written in a vacuum that does not take into consideration how kids actually behave. Okay. And so, oh, it, so again, so between these two schools, I've been in 11 different gen ed classrooms. Okay, I have been in a classroom where a teacher nearly broke down into tears in front of her class of seventh graders, pleading with them to cooperate so she could teach them. Okay, I literally was there to witness that. Okay, again, this is a catastrophic problem. I saw one teacher online say, it's a myth that there's a teacher shortage. There's a respect shortage. The teachers are not being treated with respect. I would go as far as say they were being treated like garbage, because any stronger language would be considered inappropriate to be played in a school. Yes, I would absolutely like to have this video played in schools to school children. And so if I used any stronger language, then it would be deemed unfit for that purpose. Okay. So again, that was the first incident. Okay. The second incident involved the classroom that I was assigned to work in at that time. And again, these kids are completely out of control. Okay. One of these children is the son of a member of the governing board. This son has literally told the teacher that he does not have to listen to her, and that she is not in charge of the students. He said that Thursday morning. Okay, Thursday, November 2nd. Oh, guess what? There's an additional witness, but other than the teacher. You see, one of our students has special medical conditions that requires they have a CNA attend at his side at all times during school. That it is a school mandate. When you have medical issues of this nature, you have to have a CNA. The CNA absolutely witnessed this child making that statement to his teacher. Okay, and so by the way, this is also the second CNA that's been assigned to this child. There was a previous CNA. And so when you're talking about having an objective witness that's going to tell exactly how utterly disrespectful these children are to their teachers, we have two additional witnesses that will back up my claims, as far as the level of absolute contempt, treating us like we're garbage. Okay. that these kids are doing. Okay. One of the things that the teacher does in order to give them the privilege of making choices to make the learning experience more fun is when more enjoyable is when they're doing some kind of assignment out of the book, out of one of the books, they're allowed to get up out of their desk and either sit on the floor with their friends or even switch desks. Okay. She actually allows this. Okay. Until they start abusing it. And it's obvious that they're just socializing and not just, softly, they're loud to the point where it is disruptive. And so then she has to say, okay, enough. Go back to the seat. You're such a terrible teacher. Because she took away a privilege that they abused, and now she's a horrible teacher for doing that. Okay. So what happened later that afternoon, is what one of the boys, so we were coming back from afternoon recess, and so a couple of boys started walking way ahead of the class, so I told them both to stop. One of them did stop, the other one just kept on walking, ignoring me, and so I caught up to him. He's like, I'm going to the bathroom, and it's like, did Miss Douglas give you permission? And he said, yeah. So I called back to her. Now, did you give this boy permission to use the bathroom? And she said, I already have one boy out. And so he needs to wait till that boy gets back. Okay, fine. So we got to this first, I guess you might call waypoint, where everybody needs to stop, so that way all the stragglers can catch up, so that way, we're not stringing our kids out, clear across the school. And so, so I got in front of the line, and this boy was just simply going to walk around me. And he had this big old proud smirk because there's nothing that I can do about it, because teachers are basically doormats. They're not allowed to touch children. And so what I did was I actually, use blocking, okay? In order to basically herd him back into the school. And then I literally got ganged up on by these kids. Oh, she said that he could go in, and it's like, excuse me, I heard what I heard with my own words. Now, maybe I misheard something, but there's no way I could verify with Miss Douglas what I misheard something when about a half a dozen kids are yelling at me, telling me how wrong I am, which they always do. Okay. And so, and so, yes, I have, well, first of all, when you got a half a dozen kids yelling at you, the only way they're going to be able to hear you is for you to raise your voice at a level that's considered yelling. Okay. So it's like, I'm assuming that's what these kids are absolutely hamming up. One of them was all the tears, literally, crying alligator tears because I yelled at them. And you know what? It got to a point where they needed, a severe tongue lashing. After all, they've been accusing Miss Douglas of yelling at them, pounding her fist on the table, and all this other stuff. No, actually, the kids having temper tantrums are the ones pounding their fists on the table. Okay, that's the ones that are having a temper tantrum. And yeah, and so she showed me an email where one of the parents said that how unacceptable it is that that she gets angry and she pounds her fists on the table and yells at the kids. And so I literally told these kids, you want to know what yelling is? Now I'm yelling. I literally said that because if we're going to get accused of yelling, we might as well yell at them. Okay, why not? Because it is absolute garbage that they are allowed to treat us with such utter contempt that that they can get away with. And one of the things I pointed out to them is that Mr. Lodato, the principal, gave me special permission to rein in that class. Okay, why did they need to be reined in? Well, there are other witnesses to the misbehavior of these children. Okay, he received multiple complaints that these kids were just out wandering around unsupervised when they were told, when they were given permission to go use the bathroom. The boys' bathroom is approximately 20 feet from our door. The girls' bathroom is approximately 100 feet from our door. Okay? There is absolutely no excuse for them to be walking past any other teacher's door because the bathrooms are literally right there outside our door. Okay? And that's what these kids are doing. They abuse every time we show them trust. We trust their maturity because they're big fourth graders. We should be able to trust them to walk to and from the bathroom. No, we can't. They have abused that trust. Okay, and oh, by the way, there's also this one particular girl who absolutely, she has this idea that she's some kind of a civil rights activist in the class, standing up to, for these poor picked on children, Miss Douglas sees them as, doing something they're not supposed to, and they're like, I saw you. And this girl is like, you need to stop, well, I can't think of the actual word because her actual wording, but basically, yes, she's immediately advocating on the side of the child who claims that he didn't do anything, even though Miss Douglas saw him do it with her own eyes. And she's actually advocating because she's some kind of a civil rights advocate. She hasn't actually used that term, but that's what she's acting like. Like she's some kind of civil rights advocate. And by Miss Douglas saying, I saw you do that, I guess that's child abuse to this girl. Okay. And so, these are a bunch of 9-year-olds who know more about life than all the adults. And again, we have outside witnesses, the CNAs that's even though they're not in there full time, that there are times where that things have happened with that where they can't be a witness to it, but there have been but they have pulled this garbage in front of the CNAs, so the CNAs can testify that these kids are as unruly and disrespectful and absolutely contemptuous as I am describing. Okay, and so I was tipped off by one of my coworkers that Mr. Lodato was not in the office, and so I started thinking that maybe he's getting in trouble too because this special permission he gave me. Okay, and so basically we have these bully parents of these instigators of chaos. That is what they are. They instigate chaos, and their parents are a bunch of bullies that I have no doubt are threatening the school with a lawsuit because they gave their child PTSD. Seriously, I did not give them PTSD. Trust me, every parent, just about every parent at some point, gets fed up with their child's behavior and gives them a tongue lashing far worse. A lot of parents far worse than what I gave those kids. So if what I did those kids is child abuse, then 99%, at least 99% of all parents should be arrested and thrown in jail for child abuse. Okay, seriously, this is completely ridiculous garbage made up by a bunch of unruly kids. There are plenty of witnesses to how unruly and disrespectful these kids are. Plenty of witnesses. And so, my concern right now is that both me and Mr. Lodato could lose our jobs because these bully parents of these chief instigators of chaos are probably threatening to sue the school because you take my child PTSD, and so what we need to do right now is for the majority of the parents who actually respect teachers, who want their children to learn, and whose children actually want to learn. Because there are at least 6 or 8 kids that are serious students in that classroom. They want to learn, okay? And when the teacher is spending half the time, half the class period, trying to get them to quiet down enough. Again, this is also happening over in the middle school classes. I am serious. These teachers are literally spending half the class period trying to get the kids to quiet down enough so they can actually hear what the teacher is trying to say. Okay? By doing this, they are violating the right to learn of all these students who want to learn. Okay? Every child has the right to education, and their rights are being violated by these instigators of chaos and these bully parents who are standing behind these instigators of chaos, when in fact they should be dealing with them according to who they actually are. Okay? And so yes, there should be a class action. The only way that this is going to stop is, okay, if the district only responds to people who file lawsuits against them, we need to file our own lawsuits. Okay, so these parents need to file class action lawsuit against the school. The teachers need to file a class action lawsuit for a hostile work environment, because that's exactly what these teachers are being subjected to. These kids aren't just a little rebellious, they are contemptuous. Okay, these kids think that we are garbage. Okay, there's a big difference between the teenage rebellion that some of my classmates had back in the 70s and 80s, and the absolute contempt that these students are treating their teachers today, all because the schools are scared to death of the bully parents of these chief instigators of chaos. Okay, and so yeah, well, so the teachers need to sue the schools, the parents need to sue the schools, and in order to force the schools to say, hey, let's actually do the right thing. Let's actually focus on what do we need to do in order to educate the children. Suspend these kids. Forget about this stupid little paper trail, so that way, we need to protect ourselves from lawsuits. No. Just stop it already, because the paper trails never end. I literally do not know how much paperwork it takes, how big of a paper trail it takes before a child will actually be suspended for chronic misbehavior. Seriously, I don't. I want to see documentation that some child somewhere in the entire United States actually got suspended for chronic misbehavior, for disruption of an educational environment, which is actually is illegal. Like, isn't it a felony? The disruption of an educational environment, isn't that a felony? Yes, these kids are literally committing felonies. Okay. What's that?
I'm not certain about.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm 99.9% certain that these kids are actually committing felonies because their misbehavior has reached that level where they are literally disrupting the educational environment at Emerson Elementary. And again, this isn't just at Emerson. This also happened at the other school with, and so, in a different school district. Okay, this is a major problem that needs to be addressed. Okay, stop this nonsense about how well, just stop the nonsense. I think yes, I'm autistic, I'm being redundant right now. Okay, and so anyways, and I almost forgot the biggest thing that really upsets me the most. Okay, like I said, one of the things that I do is provide in-class support to autistic students who are in the gen ed classrooms. Okay, they're not ready to be completely independent, but they do need a little bit of support. Okay, and so my job is to fix them, to make them normal like the other kids. Okay, one of these kids has complained that he feels like he's being singled out. Why? Well, maybe because there's a double standard. Okay. There's the entire resource department. Well, okay. So right now it's just Miss Mobley. Okay. We are dedicated to make sure that that all these children behave perfectly like normal children. Meanwhile, they are watching their classmates get away with murder. Okay, nothing is being done with to their classmates, to deal with behavior that is far worse than any behavior that our autistic students are demonstrating. Far worse. Okay, and yet we're we're supposed to be all over them about all these little violations, all these little missteps, you know idiosyncrasies, all these little idiosyncrasies, while their classmates are doing this. And so, yes, I actually got so angry that I told Miss Mobley in private, not around the kids. I I did refer to these classmates as neurotypical brats. Yes, I was that angry about this double standard where the autistic child is expected to have perfect behavior, and we're to ride that child to have perfect behavior to make him normal. You want to see what normal is? Yeah, you don't want those children to become normal if these instigators of chaos are the most glaring example, because they so completely dominate the classes that you can't notice anything but these instigators of chaos. Okay, so if we're going to make them normal, that's what they're going to become. Okay, except they'll be far worse, because one of my mentors, Sue Galbach, says with autistics do the extremes extremely well. Okay, and so if you get so an autistic that's compliant is going to be extremely compliant. An autistic that is extremely rebellious is going to be way more rebellious. And so yeah, it would absolutely backfire. You don't want these autistic children to emulate these peers, and yet we are hounding this one particular boy about his idiosyncrasies that are grounded entirely in his autism. Nothing else. It's not an attitude. It's all his autism. Okay, while his classmates get away with murder. And yes, it ticks me off. It is downright unfair that this double standard, and quite frankly, I believe that his parents should have grounds to sue the school for that double standard as well. Okay, because that is discrimination. They are absolutely discriminating against that boy by hounding him into perfect behavior when his classmates are allowed to get away with murder. This is garbage. And so it's so yeah, that's several things that need to be done. Another thing needs to be done is the parents of the good students need to besiege the school district. Okay, they have they have their public meetings every other Tuesday. The next meeting is this upcoming Tuesday, which I think is like maybe the 8th. I'd have to look it up on the calendar. But this next Tuesday is the next meeting, and they need to absolutely confront the school district about the fact that their children's their children's right to an education is being impaired by these instigators of chaos, uh, with the backing of their bully parents. They need to tell the school district this is enough. Me and Mr. Lodato need to be brought back, with our records expunged, or the next step up is a teacher strike. The teachers should strike for better working conditions. They should strike for the right to have a say in the discipline policy. Okay, because when you look at the whole policy, it sounds like you're talking to a lawyer. You're not talking to an educator who understands children. You're talking to a lawyer whose only concern is protecting the district from frivolous lawsuit by bully parents. That's all they care about. They don't care about the child's education. They just don't want the school district to get sued by a bully parent because somebody stood up to their child who was instigating chaos. Okay. And that ultimately is the long-term solution, is for the teachers with the input of the parents make up the discipline policy. But ultimately it's the teachers that have to implement the policy. Okay. So ultimately, yes, I believe that the teachers should have the final say. Yes, the parents should do the checks and balance thing. I have no problem with that. But the discipline policy has to be drawn up by those who are required to implement it. Okay. And they need to believe in the discipline policy. And if you go and you ask every teacher if they have confidence in the discipline policy, I am quite confident that the vast majority of the teachers, fourth grade and above, have no confidence whatsoever. I wouldn't be surprised if not one single teacher, fourth grade and above, believes in the discipline policy. Okay, I'm serious. So if they want to do an investigation to how horrible I am, why don't they do an investigation at the failure of their discipline policy, of the fact that the teachers don't believe in their discipline policy. They have no confidence in the discipline policy because the discipline policy was made up by idiots who know nothing about children and don't understand that you let one child get away with murder, every child is going to start committing murder. It's that simple. The people that wrote up the discipline policy are idiots who don't understand anything about children, period. And that is what the teachers need to stand up for. They need to stand up for themselves, and they need to go on strike demanding that they get to make the discipline policy with the input of the parents. But these stupid lawyers need to sit in back of the room and shut up. Okay, because they have nothing to contribute to the subject. They know nothing about how to educate children, period. Okay, they need to sit back in the room and shut up and let the teachers make the policy with the input of the parents. No more lawyers. The lawyers are destroying the educational system. It's not that society has changed. It's that the schools have turned over control of the schools to these lawyers, and these lawyers are destroying the schools, are destroying the education system. We need to strip those lawyers of this power. Okay? And if any of our Congress people want to actually do something useful, something bipartisan, okay, is that they need to pass legislation that nobody is allowed to sue the school district for a staff member crossing the line when the student instigated the conflict in the first place. Okay, yes, deal with the teacher. If the teacher did cross the line, yes. I'm not saying the teacher should get off scot-free. The staff should get off scot-free. I'm saying that these families should not be financially rewarded for raising children that are causing chaos, that are violating the right of education to their classmates who want an education. Okay, that the teachers need to be protected. Okay, and that is, if anybody, any of these Congress people actually want to do something useful that's actually going to improve the education system and get the lawyers out of making this dictating to the teachers, that this is their contribution, that no child who deliberately provokes a staff member at a public school gets financially rewarded. If they do that, then there's no reason for the lawyers to run the schools anymore. Okay, it's that simple. So, it's so this is just going to be the first in a series of videos, because the fact is that the grievance that I expressed on Tuesday is not the first time I have spoken up on behalf of my fellow autistics. Okay. And that's the reason why I'm no longer allowed to work in the self-contained autism classrooms, because even though majority of my coworkers, okay, I do believe, that if you, that you can present yourself in a way that wins over 80% of the of the people that that you're sharing your ideas to. Yes, that is possible if you actually think rationally and consider all variables. Okay. However, there is a small percentage of them that absolutely does not want to listen to me, and wants to do things without regard to ABA rights, and and without regard to what anybody who actually has been properly trained to work with autistics is going to tell them. This isn't, oh, we need to do things Jason's way. No, we need to do this the way of people that are the most knowledgeable experts on autism, such as Sue Gollabach, who's a now retired occupational therapist, who is who's been supporting me. And with her mentorship, I can provide free training to all of our teachers. So they actually, or all of our IEs, because the teachers have training in autism. Yeah. Anyways, so the fact is they can be trained. The fact is, Alicia, the one who's in charge of the special ed section, I forget what her official title is. She absolutely believes that training isn't training unless it's so expensive that they can't afford the training. So what do? You send in workers who haven't been trained, who have no relevant training. Okay. That is absolutely ludicrous. Okay. And so that is what's going on. And so, so yes, I have recordings for, with meetings I've had with HR responding to complaints about me, about how horrible of a coworker I am. Okay. I have the paperwork, and so yeah, I can definitely, show you, and yes, the recordings were done, with the full knowledge. I didn't secretly record it because as an employee, it is my right, especially there's two of them and one of me. So it's, so when it's, it's not a he said, he said, it's they say he said. So two against one. Okay. The one is going to be crazy. Okay. So that's why I'm smart enough to record that these meetings, which is my right. And so, yes, I exercise my right. I recorded these meetings, and I can show you that I can lay out the pattern of neurodiscrimination. Basically, neurotypicals are the neural majority, and as an autistic, I'm part of a neural minority, and like all minority demographics, we get walked on by the majority. Okay. That is something that every minority demographic can identify with, is getting walked on by the majority. And that's exactly what's going on. And so that's going to be future videos. And so with this, posting this online and rallying the autism community together will give the school district grounds to terminate my employment. But right now, I honestly believe that I was transferred to the gen ed classrooms, knowing what these gen ed students are like, okay, with the hopes that they would provoke me into giving them grounds to terminate my employment. I believe I can make a case for that. Okay, this video has gone on long enough, but that's what it boils down to. and so yeah, so sooner or later I'm going to get fired anyway. So if I'm going to go down, I might as well, go down fighting, and telling everybody the truth about what's going on there, with the hope that the parents will rally around the teachers, not just me, but all the teachers and Mr. Lodato, assuming that's the reason he wasn't in his office on Friday, which I was informed of by one of my coworkers, is that maybe he also got suspended for giving me special, permission. Okay, it's so literally my only chance of saving my job is, or getting back my job after I get fired, is for the parents to say enough is enough. This is wrong. This should not be allowed. We want change. And the first step to signaling change is to bring back me and Mr. Lodato. So that way, and then having the discipline policy redone by the teachers with the input of the parents. Okay, that's the first thing. And so basically, yeah, I'm getting redundant now. Hey, that's what autistics are known for. But anyways, happy, joy. But anyways, so I'm cutting off, and so I do intend, to send this video to every politician running for any office relevant to the subject of education, from congressmen to the governing boards and everybody in between. Yeah, I can try to to send it to the presidential candidates. They probably get so much email. I'm not sure that that it's going that it'll get through. But the best way for it to get through is for a few of these candidates who are running for prominent enough offices to to embrace them. And then they let the media know that they're going to fight for this. Then that's when the presidential candidates are going to hear about it. But when you're talking about that high up, they're not going to hear about something like this unless the news media reports it. Okay. And so that's what we need to do, is to get the news media to report on what's going on. And so anyway, so again, bid you farewell until next time. Thank you.